Hey, my dear friend, let's talk about something we all struggle with but rarely admit: ego. Think about it. How many times have you seen talented people self destruct just because they refused to listen? Or people who thought they were too good to learn, too important to take advice, or too successful to fail? Maybe, if we are being honest, you've caught yourself doing the same thing. Maybe you've ignored feedback because it hurt your pride. Maybe you've been so focused on looking successful that you forgot what real success looks like. But here's the truth: ego is the enemy of progress. It blinds us, it keeps us from learning, and worst of all, it sets us up for failure without us even realizing it. That's exactly why Ryan Holiday wrote this book. You see, Ryan isn't just some self help guru. He's a best selling author and one of the top modern thinkers on Stoicism. He's worked with billionaire entrepreneurs, professional athletes, and legendary leaders. And guess what? He noticed a dangerous pattern among those who failed. They weren't defeated by a lack of skill, knowledge, or talent. They were defeated by their own ego. So, what's this book about? In Ego is the Enemy, Ryan takes us on a journey through history's greatest successes and failures, showing how ego can destroy careers, ruin relationships, and turn potential into regret. He breaks it down into three key stages. 1. Aspiration: how ego stops us from learning and growing. 2. Success: how ego can make us complacent and overconfident. 3. Failure: how ego makes it harder to recover when life knocks us down. Why does this matter to you? Because ego isn't just a problem for famous people, it's a problem for everyone. It's the reason we quit too soon, take shortcuts, refuse to admit mistakes, and get stuck in our own heads. And here's the scary part: you don't even realize it's happening. But if you can defeat your ego, you unlock something powerful: the ability to learn and grow faster, the discipline to stay humble in success, the resilience to rise stronger from failure. So, let's dive deep into Ego is the Enemy, because the sooner we learn to control our ego, the sooner we unlock our true potential. Ready? Let's go. This first section of Ego is the Enemy is all about aspiration, the beginning of your journey, where you're chasing something bigger than yourself, whether that's a dream career or creative pursuit or building something from the ground up. But here's the mistake most people make: they let ego get in the way before they even have a chance to grow. So let's break down the biggest lessons from this section. Because, trust me, if you can master your ego at the start, success will come faster and last longer. Lesson 1: the ego and early success. The trap of thinking you've made it. Imagine this: you post something online, a video, an article, or maybe a business idea, and boom, people love it. You get likes, compliments, messages saying you're amazing. Feels good, right? But what happens next? Instead of pushing harder, you start believing your own hype. Ego whispers, "I've made it. I'm different from everyone else. I don't need to work as hard now." Big mistake. Ryan Holiday warns, early success can be a trap. If you celebrate too soon, you stop improving. And that's when people get stuck. Think about a young athlete who wins one championship and then gets lazy. They stop training as hard, stop learning, and before they know it, someone else passes them up. Treat early success like it never happened. Stay hungry, stay humble. Lesson 2. To be or to do. What do you really want? Here's a deep question for you. Do you want to be someone or to do something? Because there's a difference. Some people want the title, the recognition, the status, but they don't actually care about the work. They just want to be seen as important. Other people, they don't care about the labels. They just focus on doing great work. And ironically, those are the people who actually become great. One person says, I want to be a best selling author. Another says, I want to write a book that changes people's lives. Who do you think is going to last longer? Stop focusing on titles. Start focusing on impact. Lesson 3. Become a student. Never think you know everything. Your ego wants you to think you're already smart enough. But here's the truth. The best people never stop learning. Ryan Holiday says you must always remain a student, no matter how good you get. There is always someone better, someone wiser, someone who knows something you don't. Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players ever, would ask rookies about their training techniques because he knew there's always more to learn. Find mentors, read, listen, ask questions. Never think you're too good to learn. Lesson 4. Don't be passionate. Why passion alone is dangerous? Wait, isn't passion a good thing? Yes, but only if it's controlled. Ryan warns that blind passion can make you impulsive, arrogant, and reckless. People who let passion take over jump too soon, talk too much, and fail to plan. Ever seen someone start a business with tons of excitement but no actual strategy? They rush in, burn out, and lose everything. Takeaway: passion with discipline is equal to success. Passion without control is equal to disaster. Lesson 5. Follow the canvas strategy. Serve first, win later. Be honest. Do you want success to come fast? Most people do. That's why they skip the boring work and expect to be at the top instantly. But Ryan shares a powerful secret: the canvas strategy. This means helping others first, before expecting anything in return. It's about humility, doing the small, unnoticed work that prepares you for something bigger. Real life example: Leonardo da Vinci spent years mixing paint for other artists before he got his shot. Steve Jobs learned from working under others before building Apple. Before you lead, learn how to serve. Lesson 6. Restrain yourself. Let your work speak for you. Ever notice how some people talk about success more than they actually work on it? Ryan warns against this. Real success is quiet. Loud people get attention, but disciplined people get results. The best boxers don't talk trash, they train. The best musicians don't brag, they practice. Let your actions do the talking. Lesson 7. Get out of your own head. Stop overthinking. Ever feel stuck in analysis paralysis? Your ego loves to overthink everything. But Ryan says thinking is not the same as doing. You can read 100 books about fitness, but if you don't go to the gym, nothing changes. Less thinking, more action. Lesson 8. The danger of early validation. Don't let compliments fool you. Ever achieved something and then just stopped? Maybe you worked hard, got some recognition, and then relaxed too soon. That's the danger of early validation. It tricks you into thinking you've already won. A startup gets media hype before they even succeed and then collapses. Success isn't about getting praise, it's about staying consistent. Lesson 9. Work, work, work. Hard work beats talent. Success isn't magic, it's work. Ryan says the best way to defeat ego is to simply put your head down and grind. Stop looking for shortcuts. Stop chasing recognition. Just do the work. Will Smith says, "You might be more talented than me, but you will never outwork me." Hard work always wins in the end. Lesson 10. For everything that comes next, ego is the enemy. Ego will always be there, trying to distract you, slow you down, and make you arrogant. But now you see it. Now you know. Stay humble, keep learning, let your work speak for itself, and never let ego stop you from becoming great. In part 2 of Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday, titled Success, the author explores how ego can sabotage our progress and achievements. This section focuses on the dangers of ego during success, urging readers to maintain humility, mindfulness, and control. Lesson 1. Always stay a student. Holiday emphasizes the importance of staying humble. Regardless of your level of achievement, he encourages readers to keep a learner's mindset and resist the urge to think that they've arrived or know everything. The moment we believe we know it all, we close ourselves off from new ideas and growth. Lesson 2. Don't tell yourself a story. Our ego often encourages us to construct narratives around our successes. When we tell ourselves these stories, we reinforce a sense of superiority. Holiday argues that this can cloud our judgment and stop us from making objective decisions. Instead, we should stay grounded in reality and avoid letting our success define us. Lesson 3. What's important to you? In this chapter, the focus shifts to discerning what truly matters in life. Holiday argues that ego can distort our priorities, leading us to focus on superficial success, power, and recognition. He asks readers to reflect on their core values and be honest with themselves about what truly drives them. Lesson 4. Entitlement, Control, and Paranoia. Ego can cause a sense of entitlement, making us feel like we deserve success without effort or struggle. This sense of entitlement can also lead to controlling behavior and paranoia when things don't go as planned. The antidote, according to Holiday, is to embrace humility and realize that we all have little control over external events. Success is often a result of external factors beyond our control. Lesson 5. Managing yourself. One of the most crucial aspects of success is self-management. Ego often blinds us to our own flaws and weaknesses, making it difficult to manage ourselves effectively. Holiday emphasizes that to be successful, we need to be aware of our emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. Emotional intelligence and self-discipline are key. Lesson 6. Beware the disease of me. This chapter warns of the toxic effects of self-absorption. When our ego becomes the center of our universe, we risk alienating others, burning bridges, and failing to see the bigger picture. This disease of me can lead to self-destructive behaviors, preventing us from building genuine, meaningful relationships. Lesson 7. Meditate on the immensity. To counter the ego's tendency to focus on the self, Holiday advises us to meditate on the vastness of the world and our smallness within it. By recognizing how insignificant we truly are in the grand scheme of things, we can keep our ego in check and remain humble. This perspective helps to reduce the pressure we place on ourselves and encourages us to act with more generosity and patience. In this part of the book, Holiday shows that success, rather than making us invincible, can easily amplify the ego's negative effects. Maintaining a humble and grounded approach is crucial to preserving our peace of mind and continuing to grow. In part 3 of the book, titled Failure, the author dives deep into how ego exacerbates failure and how we can overcome it. This section emphasizes that failure is not the end, but rather a necessary step in our growth, if we can keep our ego in check. Lesson 1: A lifetime or dead time. Holiday introduces the concept of a lifetime versus dead time. A lifetime is when we take the lessons from our failures and use them to grow, learn, and move forward. Dead time, on the other hand, is when we wallow in self pity or make excuses, refusing to learn from our mistakes. Our ego often tries to convince us that we are victims of circumstances. But Holiday reminds us that how we respond to failure determines whether we live in a lifetime or dead time. Lesson 2: The effort is enough. Here, Holiday stresses that our efforts should be the measure of our success, not the outcome. The ego often attaches our identity to results, whether positive or negative. But real fulfillment comes from putting in the work and focusing on the process, not obsessing over external validation. Whether we succeed or fail, our effort is always enough if we gave it our all. Lesson 3: Fight Club Moments. In this chapter, Holiday uses the metaphor of a fight club moment to describe those difficult and humbling experiences that force us to confront the harsh realities of life. These moments can be painful and ego-deflating, but they are essential for growth. Failure is not the end. It's a brutal awakening that pushes us to change and evolve, shedding the illusions our ego builds. Lesson 4: Maintain your own scorecard. One of the greatest dangers of ego is the reliance on external validation to define our success or failure. This chapter encourages us to maintain our own scorecard, to measure our progress based on our personal values and goals, not the judgment of others. When we let our ego prioritize the opinions of others, we risk becoming lost in a cycle of approval seeking, which distracts us from the real work that needs to be done. Lesson 5: Always love. Holiday discusses how ego can create animosity and bitterness, especially in the face of failure. When things don't go as planned, the ego often pushes us to blame others or even hate the process. But Holiday emphasizes the importance of maintaining love and respect for our work, our journey, and the people around us, regardless of the outcomes. By doing so, we preserve our sense of purpose and humanity. Lesson 6: For everything that comes next, ego is still the enemy. The final chapter of this section reinforces a central theme of the book. Ego never truly goes away. Whether we are succeeding or failing, ego will always try to creep in, distorting our perception and clouding our judgment. The key is to remain vigilant and humble, remembering that ego is an enemy, not just during failure, but throughout every stage of our lives. As we move forward, we must constantly battle the ego's tendency to sabotage our potential. In this part of the book, Holiday teaches that failure is an inevitable part of our life. And while it's easy for our ego to turn failure into a personal crisis, we have the power to choose how we respond. By embracing failure, maintaining effort, and prioritizing personal growth, we can transcend the limitations ego places on us and use setbacks as stepping stones toward success. As we wrap up this journey through Ego is the Enemy, here's the big takeaway. Ego will always be there, lurking in the background, trying to convince you that you're invincible, that you know it all, that you deserve everything. But here's the truth. It's only by putting that ego in check that we unlock our real potential. Whether you're facing success or failure, remember that your ego is not your ally. Success isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's about being the one who listens, learns, and evolves. Failure is in the end. It's the chance to get back up, better and wiser. Keep your focus on effort, not outcome. Don't let your story define you. Don't let entitlement control you. Instead, ask yourself, what's truly important to me? So here's what you can do starting today. 1. Stay humble. No matter how far you've come or where you're headed, remember that there's always more to learn. Always stay a student even at the peak of your success. 2. Embrace failure. When things don't go as planned, don't make excuses. Look at it as an opportunity to grow, not as a roadblock. The effort is always enough. What you learn from failure is what truly matters. 3. Check your ego. Keep your scorecard personal. The opinions of others will fade, but your integrity, your effort, your growth, that's what counts. And above all, remember this. Ego is the enemy. But it doesn't have to be your enemy. The moment you decide to silence it, to focus on the process and not the praise, that's when you'll find the real power within you. So, take a deep breath, check your ego at the door, and move forward with a clear mind and a determined heart. Your best self is waiting on the other side.